Are those the gold medals that are right there, sir?
Yeah, a little bit of a spoiler, but these are the gold medals right here. Boom.
Okay,
there's one. Here's number 2.
Beautiful. Let me place them
Here
here.
you go. And so that's a piece from the original Eiffel Tower that's on the front of those. And yeah, that's the 100 meter. That's the high jump gold medals from Paris at the Paralympics.
Uh-oh.
Oh my.
Uh-oh, come on, Rich. Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh.
Everybody back off, okay?
They're broken, guys. Well, at least we know where those little scratches are coming from.
No.
2025.
Hold on, everybody. Excuse me.
Those things are heavy. They're no joke.
No, they are. They're super heavy. They're super heavy. I think they're some of the heavier medals that they've ever made. Because after I finished competing in Paris, did 7 hours of media interviews with both of those things on, and might have felt like it broke my neck. I literally was in so much pain.
Look at that. How beautiful is that? This is original, you said these are original pieces of metal in the middle from the Eiffel Tower?
From the Eiffel Tower. So when they first built the Eiffel Tower, however many years ago, and they would make remodelings to it, they would keep parts of the original building in a scrapyard for something. They didn't know what they were going to use it for, and they infused it into the metals, which I think is super unique.
Ezra Frech is here. His gold medals from the 2024 Paralympic Games are on the desk right here. Adaptive, which it chronicles your journey along with 3 of your other fellow Paralympians, is available on Peacock right now, called Adaptive, available on Roku. It's great to see you. Last time I saw you was at USC, correct?
Yeah, it was.
Right?
It was.
Were you in that Pete Carroll class? Did you take that class? Or
I
were you
did.
I
did. I was
the class that I've been talking about, and I know I saw you here. You were in the Pete Carroll class at USC, right?
I was in the Pete Carroll class at USC. I'm a freshman. I was one of literally 2 underclassmen, I think, that were in that class. It was me and Juju. They let
you and Juju Watkins.
Yeah, we were some of the. I think we were the only 2 underclassmen that were allowed in that class. They wanted just, they let us in because we were obviously athletes and they wanted us there.
Yes.
But I just got chills thinking about it because that was the most epic class of my entire life. Probably the most epic class I will ever take at any school.
Would you mind just diving into this a little bit here, and then obviously we'll get into you and the documentary here and what you learned, what you gleaned, because I tried my best to explain it. It was something so remarkable. My wife and I were sitting there just blown away. We've known Pete forever, but just the stories that your fellow classmates were telling about how transformative it was for them as a person, as a student. And I'm wondering, obviously you have been there and done that in terms of so much in your life to overcome and also succeed. I give you the floor on this right now.
There's moments in time where as you're experiencing it, this is going to impact you for the rest of your life. And that's what every Thursday at 4 o'clock felt like in that Pete Carroll class. This is a man who has so much wisdom and guidance and life experience. And for him to take us under his wing, to share that wisdom, to share that insight, to basically become a little USC family in that room every single week was so special. You had people completely opening up, sharing vulnerable parts about themselves. It was a class essentially on how to optimize your life, how to live life to the fullest. It was called The Game is Life because we were learning from one of the greatest football coaches of all time in the way he approaches football and the way that applies to life. And so it was this beautiful, beautiful class where, and Pete Carroll is one of the most amazing human beings I've ever met in my entire life. Wow. This man had so much going on, would come to class every single week and go, Jessica, how was that dance recital? Oh, Steve, you were talking about that meeting. How did that go? But he would remember every detail about every single student and just had so much love to share. He brought in some of the most amazing speakers. We had Jason Sudeikis, we had Tom Brady, we had literally the most elite high performers across every single field that were coming in, sharing their wisdom. And then Pete was probably, it was the most amazing class I will ever take in my entire life.
And to hear this from you, Ezra, because obviously, a lot's gone on with you since birth, pretty much, right? I mean, and so how did you learn more about yourself and about optimizing yourself when you clearly have succeeded at that on your own? It appears so far.
I appreciate that. And
well, it's the truth.
And I would like to believe that I'm pretty far along as far as the way I view myself and my confidence and life optimization. But even still, as an athlete, as an entertainer, as a human being, I feel like we're always pulling from inspiration, right? I feel like I'm always trying to be 2, 3, 4% more inspired, motivated, and to then have people who have accomplished the highest of successes, to have someone like Pete Carroll to impart his wisdom, take nuggets from it, learn from it. I mean, every now and then I just open up that journal, I look at some of the things he says, some of the things we talked about, and it might help me with some sort of issue, challenge that I'm going through in my life.
And you were born with congenital limb differences? Is that the proper way to put it?
Yeah, I was basically born, I had one finger on my left hand, and I had a lower left leg that was curved up towards my waist. And then about 3 years old, I had a 15-hour surgery where they actually amputated the leg right at the knee, and then they took the big toe from my left foot and put it onto my left hand. And so I had a toe-to-hand transplant. I could pick things up, I could hold things, and then I got a stump that could fit into a prosthetic.
And so when did you, or who was the one who inspired you to say, I want to be a Paralympian? Like, when did that moment arrive for you in your life, Ezra?
That's a good question.
Okay.
Growing up, I loved every sport. Basketball, soccer, football. Growing up, my actual idol was Pau Gasol, and he and I became friends, and he was a mentor to me when I was growing up. But then when I was 11 years old, I was watching the Rio 2016 Paralympics in my living room, and I had this out-of-body epiphany, universe telling me, this is your calling type moment, and I decided right there and then I was going to be a Paralympian.
Who did you tell this to?
I told this to everyone, family, friends, parents. I publicized it as much as I could. I was 11. I said in 4 years, I'm going to make the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic team. So the odds that the average 11-year-old can just go from completely unranked to making the Paralympic team is super, super slim. But we built a great team around myself. I trained obsessively, sacrificed pretty much all of my middle school, high school years to make it happen, and then competed in Tokyo.
And then you did it.
I did it, yes. That was the start. I competed in Tokyo. I placed 5th in the high jump in Tokyo. I was devastated to come so close to the podium but not walk away with a medal. And I was reinvigorated. I set the lock screen on my phone as a photo of the medalist that beat me with the words "never again" on there.
Dude.
And I vowed that I was never going to let that happen again, and I was going to win every single major championships or Paralympic Games for the rest of my career.
So then you must have, I assume you heard how Jalen Hurts made his lock screen,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes, exactly.
losing the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the
walking
photo
off,
of him walking off.
as, with the Chiefs confetti on the field.
Exactly.
So you can relate to something like that.
100%
obviously.
I can relate to that. The reality is it's like this weird balance between wanting to sort of let go of the past, but also recognizing that is the most motivating thing in the world. Losing on the world stage. Every time I open up my phone, I see a photo of the guys that beat me. Jalen Hurts has the same thing. Those days you don't want to get up, those mornings you want to, sleep in a little bit longer, those times where you're not feeling like going to the weight room, you open up your phone, you see that. There's nothing more motivating than that.
Well, I guess the difference between you and Jalen Hurts is he's got 1 trophy, you got 2 medals. Just as a for instance.
No flex, but
Just as a for instance, what do these medals mean to you?
Those medals mean a lot to me because of how many people invested so much time and energy into my career. And for me, it's really about impact over medals. It's always been. My dream, my purpose is to normalize disability on a global scale. And winning medals are just a part of getting to that larger purpose. But I would trade every medal in the world if it meant I could accomplish, my larger goals. But the reality is, I put my heart, my soul, my blood, my sweat, my tears, every ounce of my being into putting myself in the position to succeed at the Paralympic Games and for it to work out the way it did. I mean, this documentary we've been talking about, Adaptive, we've been filming this for 5 years. We were actually up against the budget. We were, almost running out of funding, and the whole team decided we're going to spend the entire budget to film in Paris, just banking on the fact that if I were to win, we could then get funding to finish it afterwards. And so I'm sitting there in the Paralympic Village thinking to myself, we've been filming this doc for 5 years. If I don't deliver, we don't finish this. If I don't deliver in Paris, we don't find funding to finish the doc. And so thinking about how many people were involved in my journey, these medals are an ode to them. And that's what makes them special.
Dude, man.
So cool.
You're pretty special yourself, dude.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are, but I mean, I told you that beforehand when we were chit-chatting at the Pete class, and it's remarkable. It's remarkable. So what's next for you? What's I mean, you've accomplished a lot. How old are you? How old are
20.
you? Okay, dude.
Wow.
20.
I see you.
Still a baby.
Plenty. Okay. So now what's on the docket?
On the docket is we have World Championships in about 8 weeks. So in between Paralympic Games, you have the quad, which is basically World Championships, National Championships. Last week, I just went pro. I signed with Adidas.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I can
Thank
see.
you very much.
Okay, look at you repping already. Look at him repping.
Yeah, I went pro.
Okay, I see it.
Signed with Adidas. So I won't be competing on the USC track team anymore, but I'll compete, as a pro track athlete. And then we have World Championships in 8 weeks. And then
where is that?
In New Delhi, India.
Okay.
Which is very exciting. And then we're already filming the next season of Adaptive. That'll come out before LA 28. And the LA 28 Paralympics, and you can quote me, that will be the most transformational moment in American sports history.
All right.
The LA 28 Olympics and Paralympics. And so
why is that?
Because we have the opportunity to fundamentally change the way society sees people with disabilities through the Paralympics. The Paralympics in and of itself, people don't fully understand this. This is the highest level sporting competition on the planet for people with physical disabilities. When you expose that to all of America, it rewires the way you see people with disabilities. And we have the opportunity with the games on American soil to do that, to make sure that 50 million Americans, 15% of the US population that has a physical disability feels properly included in society. And it's through sport, and it's through the Paralympics in 2028.
You can count us in on that effort if you wish.
Yeah.
We're here. You know where we live.
Ezra, were you
I know
down
where
there?
you live.
Did you take place in swim? You said you went to SC. Swim with Mike. Was that something that you were part of?
Swim with Mike is an amazing organization. And, I was good enough to make the track team at USC, but I wasn't good enough to warrant a full scholarship. And so USC is an expensive college to pay out of pocket, and Swim with Mike is an amazing organization. And they help people with physical disabilities basically get into school, get into colleges, and help them afford to be able to be at a high level institution. And so they helped me be able to go to USC in the first place and allow me to compete on the track team and help me afford that. So they're very special,
Awesome.
very amazing.
Well, listen, you know where we are. I know where you are. If you're still around the USC campus, I'm going to be there later this month.
Okay.
For the first class of the next iteration of it's not called The Game is Life.
Yeah.
But Susie, my wife, is the professor along with David Belasco, who's taking up the mantle.
No way.
Yes. And, she's beyond excited. But, it's daunting because you're a perfect example here. Guys, here's somebody in you. I don't mean to talk about you like you're not sitting here, Ezra, but where you have accomplished so much that you decided, I am going to compete. I'm going to see what this game of life can do for me from my couch, from my position, and look what you have done with it. And you said you learned so much from Pete's class. I'm telling you, it was one of the most special things I've ever seen. And I'm appreciative of you giving voice to it. And, Susie's going to take up that mantle. She's competing in that respect as well.
I'm so
if you're there, you can come by on Tuesdays.
I would love,
by on Tuesdays.
Is that what it is? I'd love to stop by. No, Pete Carroll's an amazing guy, and I'm so excited to go to some Raider games. I mean, he literally accepted the Raiders job while he was in class, with us.
Wait a minute. Are you serious?
Yeah.
So you're all in class together?
Well, he was in the process of figuring all this out. And literally, he was like, right after class is when he accepted the job. Like, you have no service down there, no service.
Right.
So he wasn't getting any calls or messages. And then apparently, like, right after class is when, he got the call, accepted the job. It was unbelievable. Like, this is all happening while we were.
Wow.
And he's, he's talking about he's explaining, the process of like what it's like to be an NFL head coach. And then sure enough, he takes the next class, comes back, and we're like, Coach, you accepted the Raiders job. And he was like, oh yeah, that happened right after class.
I thought you meant like you got something right in the middle of a question telling one of your classmates, hold on a second before you answer. I got to say, yes,
Tom Brady's on the phone.
I accept. Now you were saying,
sends a quick text like, yep, I'm in. And then
I'm in.
But yeah, with no service down there, a little difficult. But yeah, apparently like it was happening as class was going on there. And then eventually he stepped out and took the job.
Well, the game is life, right? No
Game
doubt.
is life.
Adaptive on Peacock, available on Roku. check it out. Ezra, you're a delight to have here. Ezra Frech, thank you for bringing your hardware. Congrats on the gig with Adidas, and good luck in your professional career. And stay in touch. And seriously, your mission is remarkable. And however we can be a small part, we're here for you.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
You got it. That's Ezra Frech right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.